Frank's diary remains one of the most widely read books across the globe. It's been translated into over 60 languages, and over 30 million copies are in print. The world will never forget the story of Anne Frank and her family, and the millions of others who lost their lives in the Holocaust.
Wednesday, April 5th, 1944. My dearest Kitty, I don't want to have lived in vain like most people. I want to be useful or bring enjoyment to people, even those I've never met. I want to go on living even after my death. And that's why I'm grateful to God for having given me this gift, which I can use to develop and to express all that's inside me. Yours, Anna M. Frank.
Doing this project was an experience I have never done before. It was certainly a long process because as we go through it, the reading and the writing, I was actually able to find enjoyment doing so. I was also allowed to express freely about it.
There has been a lot that I learned while writing the journal. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is how to manage my time well. Although I did spend time writing the journal in class, I began to notice that I was falling short on the dates, and this was probably because I didn't write in my free time whenever I had the chance. Another thing I learned while writing the journal was how to multitask. Personally, I found it quite challenging to read and write simultaneously. I tried doing other methods as well, such as reading first and then the writing comes after, but I noticed that that only slows down the efficiency that I could have achieved while doing the project. So in the end, I figured out how to balance the reading and writing, and it made the process of writing the journal much faster.
Nothing else ever seems to hurt like the smile.
Anne actually showed a very wonderful example of a strong, wise, independent girl at an age like us. And yes, I have emphasized it actually quite plenty of times in my response journal, but that just shows how much I've learned from her. She always taught me to stay positive in dark times and to stand up for ourselves. We should change ourselves for the better for ourselves. We should love our lives and to also stay grateful. She also showed me how to continue striving for your passion, like how she did in writing. She taught me to continue seeing life in a way that you can enjoy it, to be happy, and to continue showing kindness to everyone.
From this very book, I have learned a couple of life lessons. Firstly, we need to appreciate things we have in life. As Anne Frank mentioned, how lucky she was to be hiding in the annex compared to the hundreds of families and children. As I was reading entry after entry, I tried to imagine how the living situation must have been for all 8 residents, where there were times of laughter and happiness, as well as times of quarrel, sorrow, and worries.
What life lessons I learned from reading her diary? One was being grateful for everything I have right now, even in the slightest, smallest thing, because Ain suffered a lot, and she had to experience seeing her friends being shipped out and seeing other people suffer, and she can't do anything.
I believe that among the many lessons, the one that had the most impact on me would be when she said to see the beauty in life all around you and also to just stay happy, because yes, she had a home to hide in for the meantime during the war, but she also wasn't rich, and she said to be not pretty or intelligent when she actually is, yet she continues to stay happy.
All her diary entries were very precious and inspiring. I think one of the diary entries that struck me most was when she describes the life she lives as a Jew. She described how harsh they were being treated, the rules that they had to follow, and I think that there were similarities in how they treated people back then with Jews and now with the Muslim concentration camps in China. So this means that war doesn't only end in the past, but it also can and may carry on to the present. The last diary entry that struck to me was her final entry. She explains how she split into two, and there are times that what she says is not truly how she feels, but both sides of Anne Frank, the one outside and the one inside, completes Anne Frank as a whole. I think the greatest lesson that Anne Frank taught me is to be yourself no matter what people say. There are times where we try to suppress who we are to fit the standards of society, but Anne teaches us to be free in who we are, which is very, very beautiful.
July 9, 1942, which was when she was touring around the annex for the first time, and she was writing how it looked like, what was the environment like, and I personally found that inspiring because at the time it was the first time she started moving in, which is I found really negative since that's when they started going into hiding. So I found it inspiring that she somehow made that situation into like a positive situation.
One of my many favorite entries from Anne would be on Sunday, May 2, 1943, because on that entry she said about conveying a message of hope in times of darkness, especially like you really don't know what would happen in the annex.
I used to complain like how there's this whole coronavirus situation and how we're not allowed to go out. But then now that after I read Anne Frank, she told me that I should really be thankful that I still get to live my life here. A great thing that she actually taught me also was that we should see the good in everyone.
And mentioned how she feels that she is in a paradise compared to the Jews who aren't in hiding. It made me realize the importance of perspective on how her secret annex was compared to something grand like a paradise. I found out that self-awareness is very important, and it may teach us many things in life. Now, I will talk about why you should read this amazing masterpiece. Firstly, it was a true story where you can find the lifestyle of the Jews during the war. Second is that from this book, you will learn that the worst thing in your life can also have a little of good things. And lastly, you will be able to experience many different types of feelings and emotions in just one book.
Yes, thank you, Miss Lassie, for giving us this opportunity to do this project. It is very beneficial to us. It can help us learn, and it opened up a new side of reading that I never thought I would unlock.
It all began from a birthday gift of a diary to Anne to something that impacted the whole world. I just want to say thank you, Anne, for teaching me many wonderful lessons, even though you're not here anymore. And I also want to say thank you to Miss Leslie, who showed us and gave me the key to open the door to many more life lessons.